Hello fellow Helldivers, Thornton here, and we just got the DSS, and right now we're doing a lot of voting using our materials to go ahead and figure out the best defense or attack plan that we can. But that being said, today we're going to talk about something we've been waiting for a very long time: vehicles, and if they're ever actually going to come to the game, or if they've been scrapped, and if they do come, what we can be expecting. We're going to go over all of that, but without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. The dev team at Arrowhead are having troubles putting in vehicles, and well, we'll kind of go into why that's an issue. And Arrowhead actually gave us some pretty good insight, because there is one huge challenge that this game is going to continue to have and face over and over again, and that's the fact that it does utilize a pretty much dead game engine. Helldivers 2 was built on Autodesk's Stingray engine, which was discontinued back in 2018 when this game was still in development. Now obviously they continue to develop on it, and that's fantastic because the game overall is really fun. The one downside is they've got to try to navigate the complexities of maintaining and optimizing an engine that lacks any ongoing support. Now if you're still watching and you're kind of like, okay, we get it, Stingray is not an optimized engine, Unreal might be a possibility but doesn't seem likely. What does this have to do with vehicles, Thornton? Well, let me go into this real quick. Twinbeard, one of the devs over at Arrowhead Studios, actually had a pretty interesting take, and I want to go over it. He said, nope, the thing is, to offer some context on why we never comment on leaks nor discuss them. Why? There's simply no upside for neither us nor you. Sure, we get some that are curious. Still, stuff that's been pulled in data mining can be scrapped ideas, ancient stuff, newer stuff, work in progress, or confirmed for all we know. And I've seen so much content come into that game and then so much stuff being play tested that eventually got scrapped. It's just what happens in video game development. In fact, Iron Sights, Asunder, and more actually bring up some interesting stuff, such as Asunder saying they cut helmet HUDs, which was something apparently supposed to come in for at least maybe the first person view. And then Iron Sights saying, yeah, they have cut so much nearly complete content. Real, maybe they'll come back. That being said, there was some talk the other day about vehicles possibly being removed, possibly making it in, and Jinx brought up some really interesting stuff, saying that they might be cut in the future due to maps and engine issues maybe, and that they are no longer in the files as of now. If anything, they are in the dev build, which does happen all the time. Things can get removed from the game and then brought over to the dev build to figure out if they can actually make it in. One of the major issues with Arrowhead and adding in so much of the new stuff they are doing is the fact that the game engine that they built it on is already extinct. It just does not simply exist in the game anymore for upgrades, and they can't really do anything to modify the engine as of now, which means that if it does not work, if say the new vehicles that do come in, if they don't work on the dev build, even though they were about 70% complete, if it ends up just like crashing your PS5 or your PC, they simply can't put it into the game. Does that mean it's not 100% coming? No. Does that mean it's 100% coming? No. In fact, Iron Sights brings up the fact that the vehicle bay model of the ship still exists, and all vehicle components are intact, and Asunder agrees with that. So it does seem like this is still something that they are actively working on adding into the game. There's also some other talk about Pilstead, one of the former CEOs of Arrowhead, said that armor customization is being worked on, but they see nothing about it in the files. And Asunder goes ahead and says it won't be in the files, meaning that even though there are future stuff being worked on, we won't even know about all of them. We only get a small glimpse on what is possible. There seems to be a lot of stuff coming for Super Earth as well. In fact, Johan Pilstedt, the former CEO and now creative director, actually asked about giving us the best Eagle stratagem ideas, and someone actually said a heavy bomber carpet bomb with a high cooldown would be sweet. Fighter jet dropping in like 3 autonomous mini mechs that move around and help fight would be neat. Fighter jet dropping a bomb that opens up and does a high powered 360 laser spin like Iron Man and Iron Man 2. And Pilstedt actually said yes, and then showed a Super Earth bomber, which looks completely done and modeled and going to be coming into the game in the very near future. In fact, this has been found in the game files by a couple of data miners as well, and they actually showed a comparison of how big this thing is. As next to a destroyer, it's actually not as tiny as you would think. So it looks like we're going to be getting a little bit of help in the near future to deal with these things. Not to mention other types of missions, such as an extraction one, which Iron Sight showed here, actually talks about the Colony rover, which has been data mined for a while. We know that they were moved over to the dev build, but it looks like it's going to be an evacuate civilians mission, very similar to the ones where we go ahead and get them on the shuttles or on the doors on the bases, but instead we're going to transport them from one location to another using the Colony rover. This would make sense on how to introduce land vehicles into the game, because right now the maps may not be big enough and it may be too quick to finish a mission if we just run around in a vehicle blasting everything. Having a set designation for transport makes a lot more sense in the grand scheme of things, at least in my personal opinion, but I'm always interested in hearing your guys's. Now, along with the orbital cannons, there's also war crimes being committed by the automatons, once again coming from Asunder in the data mine files. It seems that the automatons are processing large quantities of organic polynucleotides, and I'm actually very impressed, I think I pronounced that right, at a facility which they use to construct their nanoscale body armor. Liberate these assets and we can use it to protect defenders of democracy instead of heartless metallic killers. Right below that is actually the hive breaker drill objective, which we've already seen. That one's already in the game, but I don't believe the polynucleotides is yet in the game, along with the atmospheric neurotoxin gas. I could be wrong once again, but it is interesting to see more stuff come into the game with mission types like that. The one I'm very excited for is one actually about Illuminate research, which will be an upcoming mission type in the near future, where an extremely high value shipment of iridium crystals liberated at heavy cost from the Illuminate research facility at Blacker Mesa needs to be safely recovered to friendly territory. So we go in, we extract, we take something out, but that's not the only thing. It looks like we're going to actually be extracting the Illuminate themselves, as there is also game files for a proto-Illuminate VIP where we have to make sure it gets onto the shuttle home. Once again, it'd be interesting to see the colony rover or any other vehicle come to the game where we have to transport it. There's a black box of experimental lightship Helvita that has been located on a glacier after the ship disappeared into hyperspace. The box contains invaluable data that could allow our scientists to crack the hyperdrive technology, potentially allowing jump-capable nuclear warheads. Once again, we are getting a ton of weapons of mass destruction with these mission types, and I can't wait to see all the carnage that we are able to unleash, once again, in democracy's name. But that's not all Helldivers, because according to some stuff found in the files by Iron Sights, there is a player camera variables for flying vehicles. That is correct. Flying vehicles look like they're on the way, some form or another. I actually reached out to Iron Sights and he was nice enough to explain vehicles, or at least the flying ones, and what we knew so far. They had their own unique camera controls, he let me know, and it's kind of like how when you enter a mech, the camera perspective changes from the default, and that means that we may be able to use flying vehicles at some point as they have unique camera values. This is actually pretty interesting. We've known of a couple other vehicles so far, such as the Colony Rover, which is a vehicle that's been data mined that may be possibly driven by players. It is unknown whether it is a stratagem or if it spawns on missions, and as it points out in this post right here, we're not even sure if it's drivable yet. There's also a heavy and a light recon vehicle, and I'll play the gameplay clip in a minute so you guys can watch all the footage of how those function in the game and make up your own mind on whether you want to see them come in. And they were about 70% done and then put onto a dev build. That means that they're either trying to finish it on the dev build or that they realized that it wouldn't function very well in the game. But like I said, let's go ahead and play the clip, and then you guys can let me know if you think these would be viable for the future of Helldivers too. Down below, what are your guys' thoughts on vehicles coming to the game? Do you think that they would work, or do you think that they don't really matter anymore now that we have the DSS? Also, don't forget to check out this video and this video right here where I cover more news on Helldivers 2 on the daily. And until next time, everyone, thanks for stopping by. Keep spreading democracy.